mean by listen to yourself? Anybody? So most people walk around just from here to here, and they're emotionally constipated on top of it. So we have a whole being. Okay, we're not just our mind. We're not just our brain. Okay, we've got a heart, we got a gut with some intuition, we got a physical body. And that's how, why I was talking at the beginning of the class about that 15 minutes in the morning and the 15 minutes when you come home, those anchors, to like connect with with the whole part of who you are. What am I thinking? What am I feeling? What am I thinking? What am I feeling? What's my body trying to tell me? What is it trying to tell me emotionally? What is it trying to tell me physically? When I, started working on myself many years ago, all of a sudden, I remember at one point, I started to crave kale. Now, this is before anyone knew what kale was, okay? This is before kale was the cool vegetable, all right? Because my body was like, no, my body told me it needs kale. That's whatever, whatever nutrients, that's what it needed. So to be that in touch with your body, to get that in tune with yourself. What are you feeling? Now, when you're feeling something, so yes, we walk around emotionally constipated. Why is that? Because we don't like to feel pain. We don't like to feel emotional pain, right? So, you guys know the work of Brené Brown. I suggest you check out her work, whether it's TED Talk or books. But, this is why we have an addictive society. So, whether you're addicted to like horrible things like drugs and alcohol and all those things, sex, work, technology, video games, there's lots of things. Everyone's got their poison, right? Everyone's got their voice. When you want to not feel your feelings, for me it's food, generally. I'm just gonna eat a big bowl of pasta. What is the thing that you do to avoid feeling pain? That's where you can find where your addiction is, okay? So, but here's the thing, it's like if we avoid feeling our feelings, the bad ones that we don't want to feel, whether it's anger, shame, resentment, if we don't feel the bad feelings, that means we're going to be numb to the good feelings too. That's a problem, right? So if you can't feel anger, that means you're not going to be able to feel joy either. You're not going to be able to feel enthusiasm or passion, right? So we don't want to deny or repress our emotions. We want to allow them to like move through us and process them as they come up. Process them as they come up. It's like the weather. It's like clouds passing. It's going to pass, but they're there for a reason. Emotion, energy in motion. What is the feeling trying to tell you? Maybe it's just a release, and that's all it is. So whether, a good example of this, which is not really emotional, but like I think it illustrates it well, is like if I stub my toe, which happens, I'm a little bit of klutz, so I stub my toe a lot. But if I stub my toe, I will scream, ow, pretty much as loud as I possibly can, and then it doesn't hurt because I move the energy through me. Think about it now. If you stub your toe and you go, right, and you try to hold it in, it really hurts when you do that. So think about that with your emotions too. Let your emotions process when in an appropriate place and time, obviously. But you don't want to, those emotions that are not processed become resentment, they become bitterness, they become physical manifestations, illnesses. It's bad. So, and we live in a society, and especially, if you're of the male persuasion, God forbid you feel an emotion or show an emotion. It's really unhealthy. So, and here's the thing too, because people go, well, I don't want to have my emotions run my life. But this is where that checking in with yourself and being in control of your own time and your energy, you get to a place where you're kind of observing. So at the same time you're feeling the emotion and experiencing the emotion, you're also a part of who's observing. That's interesting. This is making me really upset. What's that about? And then you try to process what that emotion is trying to tell you. right? So it's not, I want to be very clear, I'm not saying like let your emotions run you, right? Just let your emotions take over. No, I'm saying process your emotions as they come up and try to understand what the emotion's about, right? So that's maturity, okay? We don't see a lot of that because most people are just reacting, right? You're just reacting, but this is the problem. It's like because if you haven't processed stuff and it's all stuffed in and you've got resentment and bitterness and whatever, and like someone just like trips a wire and boom, you explode. But if you've been processing all along, then something can happen, and it might hurt a little bit, but you kind of recognize it, you know it, you can process it, and then you won't explode, you won't react. You can address the situation in an appropriate way. Is that making sense for you guys? This is like stuff that we're not taught. We have no examples of it. What do we glorify? We glorify Real Housewives and